Hello, my name is Krishna Vavilala. I am the chairman for the Foundation for India Studies. And this is an oral history project, a special project for the Indo-American community we have launched 3 years ago. Today is July 18th of 2014. We are interviewing Mr. Hasmukh Doshi, a prominent Houstonian who has been living here for a long time. He will tell how long in his interview.
Thank you.
And I invite you for the project, Mr. Doshi. As you have requested to start your interview with a Jain prayer, please go ahead.
Jain prayer, I'm going to say Namo Ariyantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Ovajjayanam, Namo Loye Sauvasavanam, Eso Panchanamukkaro, Sauva Pava Panasano, Mangalanancha Savesing Padamam, Havai Mangalam. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I'll be asking you some questions.
Yes.
Purely from history standpoint
Yes.
of our community, and for posterity for our future generations of Indo-Americans here living in Houston to know more about their predecessors
Yes.
who came in the 60s, 70s and 80s. So I would like to know what your life was like in India before you decided to come over to America.
I was born in Gondal, Gujarat in 1943, but I was raised in Ahmedabad because my parents were living in Ahmedabad.
In Gujarat?
In Gujarat,
Right.
in Ahmedabad, Gujarat, yes.
Okay.
And I was raised in my high school and college work in Ahmedabad. And I came to America in 1966 when I was 23 years old.
What college did you go to? Yeah,
I received a degree in a diploma in a civil engineering from the government polytechnic in Ahmedabad, India. Our college was attending in an LD engineering college because we didn't have our own building over there, but we studied in LD engineering, matter of fact, yes.
Okay. So after engineering, what did you do?
After I finished engineering in India, I worked in India for an American architect. His name was Bernard Cohn. I worked there for about a year before I come to United States.
Was he practicing on his own, or that architect? has a group of
Bernard Cohn
companies?
was a professor at the School of Architecture in Ahmedabad.
Okay.
And he was also doing a private practice side by side. And I was one of the engineers working on his projects.
Okay.
And he was one of my also a mentor. He was my mentor
Okay.
in my life
Very
also.
good. So you have got good training even before you came over.
Before, that is correct. And I was very fortunate to work for an American architect back in India at that time.
Excellent, excellent. Interesting.
Yes.
And this was in the year
1966, I came to America, and I came to straight from Bombay to Houston. And at the University of Houston, I was enrolled as a student, and I was enrolled in a College of Technology at that time, studying HVAC, they call heating, ventilating, and air conditioning system design. So I was interested in learning something new other than the civil engineering. So I came to America in 1966, and I was graduated in 1968 with my first degree, Bachelor of Science in Technology, in Mechanical Technology, specialized in HVAC system design.
Okay, good. That is in which college was it?
At University of Houston.
Houston. Also.
Yes.
Very good.
But then I also continue my studies, and I also received a Bachelor of Science degree in Civil Engineering from the University of Houston in 1972.
Great. And what motivated you to come to America to begin with?
The main reason is the opportunities, one thing. For example, the kind of courses they were offering at the University of Houston was not available at that time in India. And it was a specialized training in HVAC, heating, ventilating, and air conditioning system design. It was the beginning of, in India, that was required, yes. And also the government of India was also very happy to send some people to abroad to study something that is not available in India.
True. After all, India is a hot country.
Hot
and
country, and
Texas is also hot.
Hot country, right?
And your HVAC expertise would help.
When I was working with the architect, I noticed that all the buildings required air conditioning
By
and
law.
heating by law, right?
Yeah.
And especially in America, yes. And so I thought it's a good idea to learn something different than what most of the people learn. Yes.
Wonderful. So after the college here, then what did?
Okay, after college, I finished 1968. I got married to an American girl in 1969, and we got separated and divorced in 1972.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went back to India and I remarried myself and came back here to America again.
You have children?
I have one son from the first marriage, yes. And
What is his name?
his name is Vijay, and he lives in Seattle, Washington right now. And yeah, he also married, and he also have and I have two grandsons
Through
also.
him.
Right.
What does he do?
He has a degree in environmental science, but most of the time he is working in IT industries.
Okay.
Yes, he used to work for Microsoft for very many years. Then he's changed his job in working for some insurance company now. But again, he's in IT field.
Okay. So how many kids you have through the second wife?
My second wife, I have two children. One son, his name is Siddharth. My daughter, her name is Riddhi. And both are married now. And my son is living in San Francisco, California. And my daughter is living in Long Island, New York.
Okay, wonderful.
And my daughter has one son. He's just more than 1 year old. And my son, his wife is expecting the baby in October of this year.
Oh, good. So you have a very nice family, and you connect with them quite often?
Very often, yes. Matter of fact, we go and visit them at the same time they come and visit us at least 2-3 times a year.
Good. So during your life in America, did you face any discrimination?
No, I did not face any discrimination because you have to behave yourself in such a way that nobody will discriminate you. You should have a self-confidence in yourself and always go with the stream so nobody will discriminate against you. And try to follow the rules and regulations of the nation which you are living, so nobody will discriminate against you.
So that is very good. You are one of the satisfied people.
Yes.
Wonderful. Now, I understand you also have a company of your own.
Yes, before I started my company, I was working for a number of different companies. Especially, I had two different companies. I used to work for civil engineering firms with having a land planning and development. Then also I have worked for petrochemical industries in which I learned structural engineering also. So I have a diversified experience in civil engineering as well as in structural engineering. Yes. And after one of the company I used to work, their president passed away and the company fell down. I started my own business about 15 years ago. And I started my company called Doshi Engineering and Surveying Company. I started in 1992.
Is purely surveying or any
No,
other?
it's both engineering and surveying.
surveying.
Doshi Engineering and Surveying Company, yes.
Okay. That means you don't do architectural engineering?
I do not do architectural engineering work. We retain architects to design the buildings, but other engineering part we do that. We do civil engineering, we do foundation engineering, structural engineering. We also do the HVAC system design also.
Oh.
We do not do electrical and plumbing design, which we retain some other outside help to do the project.
Okay. Can you name some of the good big projects you're proud of being associated with?
That is a good. One of the project when I was working for a Bechtel, and we designed a foundation for a 100,000 horsepower motor in Saudi Arabia. That one foundation took almost 2 months for 2 people to design it. At that time, we did not have much computers. We used to do it longhand, design it. So that's one of the biggest foundation I ever designed in my life.
So you take into consideration some vibration of the motor?
That is correct. There was a strict restriction that you should not have a certain vibration of the motors and pumps, in order, otherwise that the motors will destroy it and they cannot take that chance. Yes.
So you will have some sort of a flexible design which can accept some minimum amount of vibration?
Yes, we have to design it dynamically, that foundation, and also we have to see what kind of soil is supporting in it. Matter of fact, the soil underneath was rocks, and as a matter of fact, we have to remove the rocks out and we have to fill up with the sand, and then we put a concrete foundation on the top of that. Yes.
So the geotech thing you will subcontract to somebody
Right,
else?
the geotech supports us, what kind of soil conditions are there, and how much it can carry the loads, yes.
So,
And then the other project, we have a number of projects that also I have done. The biggest project I have done for my religious center, Jain Vishwa Bharati. I have started the whole project from the buying a land to the finishing of the whole project. And that was done 4 or 5 years ago, and I was involved in that project for at least 4 years. That was my you can consider it as my legacy.
of course, your contribution.
Contribution to the society, yes.
Yes, yes, wonderful.
Yes.
And that was, I believe, pro bono services sort of.
That is right. I did not
Charge
anything, and I
You
was
gave
a
back to
volunteer.
the
I
community.
gave back to the society. I helped them how to look for land. We bought the land. I designed everything from the bringing the water line, sewer line, and plan whole structures, and also involved in construction part of it and given to the society. Yes.
Oh, wonderful. And you are also the founding president of the American Society of Indian Engineers.
Right,
What prompted you to do that? Let me.
Well, I was serving myself in a Gujarati Samaj of Houston as a property management, and that time we had a friends got together, and we decided that how about establishing an engineers club in that facility, and that's what come to the establishing 20 years ago American Society of Indian Engineers, and I was the first president of that society. Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Only yesterday you and I attended that.
Yes, and that is still going on, and I think we are going to celebrate 20 years this year.
Gala, a
Yeah.
big
Big
event
gala,
is going
that
to
is correct.
happen.
Yes.
Excellent. And you are also involved in the Gujarati Samaj.
I was a property chairman over there. I was involved in Gujarati Samaj for 2 years. I also was teaching Gujarati over there for a couple of years also. And I was trying to help to the society and try to do the betterment of the existing facilities so that people can enjoy more and more.
What more projects do you want to do?
Well, anytime any society is looking for any project, I'll be very happy to assist you. Matter of fact, I am helping right now in a Jain center. Where I was instrument in helping them to decide and buying a land for them, which is, a matter of fact, this year we are doing that. And now we have done the survey part of it, and we are going to be involved in the planning of that facilities also.
So how big is that project in terms of money?
Money-wise, I do not know exactly because we just got the land, 15-acre land, right on
That's pretty big.
right nearby Sugarland Airport, right in
Okay.
West Airport, and out of 15-acre land, some of the land they're going to be used for a Jain society. They're building a Jain temple over there, and again, it's going to be multi-million-dollar project, no question about that. Yes.
So you mentioned so many times Jain. So I believe you are a Jain by belief.
Yes, I am a Jain by birth as well as by belief.
Belief,
And
practice
also
yes.
Jain religion too. Yes, very well.
So tell me something about the Jain society in Houston.
Okay, we have two Jain societies here. One is a Jain Center of Houston, and another one is called Jain Vishwa Bharati of Houston. There are two different organizations are there.
Okay.
And Jain Vishwa Bharati of Houston, I was one of the director, but I resigned myself after having my duty done for 7 years. I also was a trustee of the Jain Center also, but primarily I go to the Jain Vishwa Bharati Jain Vishwa Bharati Meditation Center. That's where I go right now. Yes, but the Jain religion is both the core principles of the Jain religions practicing are same. It's a different way of doing. One is believing in idol worshipping. Other one is not believing in idol worshipping. So that's where the difference is.
I see. So, is that the difference between Hinduism and Jainism?
Yeah, Hinduism and Jainism, there is much difference. Hindu religion believes in a God. The whole creation of the universe is by the God, while the Jain people do not believe in that the creation is made by the God.
No.
They do not believe in a God. They believe in a nature. And what the Jain religion says that you have a power for yourself to become like a God. If you can clean up your soul, then it becomes a God. That's what the Lord Mahavira done it. Lord Mahavira cleaned his soul by tap and jap, and he purify his soul. And when you purify your soul, you have entitlement, so that you can see how the whole universe works and how what is your function in universe. I think the biggest thing that we are forgetting ourselves that human being is also a part of a nature, and that is what we are forgetting. And we are on the face of the earth just to do nothing but God's work, except that we have been given a high intelligence. The Jain religion is also very primarily believe in a non-violence. And when you have a non-violence and your beliefs are stronger in a non-violence, then you become a less and less materialistic. And that's also, you live with nature also. That is part of a Jain principles.
I see some Jains wearing, in India of course,
Yes.
not here,
Right.
a cloth, white cloth across their
Right.
nose and mouth also.
Yes.
And they also don't use the shoes, I think.
Right.
Right. So tell me something. Why? What is
Okay,
the reason behind it?
Okay. The primarily when you speak, you are blowing air into the atmosphere, and there are so many insects are living in a atmosphere. So you are preventing. You are not want to harming those insects living in atmosphere. That's why they wear those clothes in a mouth. And or some people, they also use their hand like this, and also
Right.
mentions that just trying to prevent a harming to the insects. That's one thing. That's the main reason. So you are going to the micro level of non-violence.
Non-violence. But
You
is
don't
it
want-
really practical? That is my.
It is very
main,
practical. I
concern.
do not see any reason why you cannot do that. You can
No,
put your.
but I mean, walking on the
Okay.
on the street road, always you
Okay.
will kill some bacteria
Okay.
or something.
Okay,
insects.
walking on a road is no problem, but walking on a grass, it is a problem, because grass is a living life, and you do not want to walk over the grass. There is nothing wrong with walking on a concrete walkway or a roadway, that you are not harming anybody. But when you walk on a field or on a grass, you are harming the living thing,
The living
living plants.
plant.
That is the reason why they do not walk on a grass. And also they do not want to wear shoes, because they wanted to derive the energy from the earth to your body.
Straight, directly.
Directly to. That is the reason why they do not like to wear any shoes on the street.
Oh,
Yes.
that's a very interesting
Yeah.
concepts.
Right. We have two nuns living in Jain Vishwabharati, and if you wanted to learn more about it, I'd suggest you to talk to them and also maybe invite them. You can learn more about Jainism also.
That's interesting because I went on a cruise once, and on the ship there is a separate section of food.
Yes.
Food court. They said it is Jain food.
Yes.
So can you tell me in what way Jain food is different?
Okay, Jain food, it is different in a sense that they do not eat anything which undergrows the soil, undergrows into the ground. For example, onions or potatoes or sweet potatoes or garlic, all those things are growing into the ground. So when you take those potatoes or garlics out from the ground, you are harming a lot of insects living into the soil.
Who are depending on those.
Not
food.
depending, but when you want to take the potatoes out, you have to dig it out, and when you dig the soil out, you are also harming other living being living in a soil, and that is what the purpose of is trying to minimize your killing of the insects. That is the main purpose, and that's why we do not eat potatoes, onions, garlic, and when they prepare the food, which is without potatoes, garlic, or any onions in it.
I
Yes.
see.
Yeah.
That's an interesting concept. Also, just give me an idea of how many Jains are there in this in the world, and then of course in India mostly, and in this country.
Yeah.
Just give me a sense.
Let's put it this way. In India, I would say the population of Jain is probably 1.2 to 1.3% of the whole population. So out of 1.2 or 1.3 billion people, only 1% is only Jains. Yeah. In America, again, same thing proportion-wise. I do not know exact number of the people in America, but proportional-wise, maybe 1% or 2% of the Indian population, I would say this. Yes.
Does your religion preach conversions?
No, we do not. We do not want anybody to convert anybody. We wanted to give our thoughts, and that thoughts that you can work yourself and purify your soul, and you can become a god if you wish to. If you look into our 24 Tirthankaras, all they have done is nothing but purifying their souls, and by doing a meditation, by doing a yoga, by doing a jap, by doing a tap, you can purify your soul, and all the bondage of your karma, you can relieve your soul very pure. And then once your soul is pure, you can merge with the bigger soul, which we call it Paramatma or God.
Okay, yeah. That's also an interesting concept. So the jap and tap, you used those words,
Right.
A couple of times. Those are Sanskrit words, correct?
Yes.
So jap and tap. What is jap and what is tap?
Jap is like a chanting a mantra. Mantra, like you can call out, you can have a beads, you can rosary, what do you call
rosary.
Yeah, jap. You are concentrating and repeating the name of your beloved God, or like a Rama, 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 or Mahavira, Mahavira, Rama. Repetition of
That is
any
japa.
mantra. It is a japa. And when you come to tapa, tapa means like you do fasting. It is called a tapa. If you are doing some work for the society, it is also called a tapa.
I see.
So there is other way you can look at it. By having a fasting yourself, what you are doing it, you are saving the energy to not to use that energy to digest your food. Because if you are fasting, you are not intaking your food inside, and you feel much better when you are storing your own energy. Otherwise, if you eat 2 times or 3 times a day, and your energies are wasted to digest that food. So what you are doing, you are saving that energy for yourself, and then you feel much better, and you feel more productive. That is the reason why they do fasting. I'll give you if you have read read the story of Mahatma Gandhi. He is
Yes.
doing fasting all the time.
Right.
And I would call Mahatma Gandhi is a one good example of modern time as a Jain,
Non-violence.
non-violence.
Yes.
And you can know how that non-violence principle he applied to driven out the British without fighting a war with them.
Very true.
Not only that, there are other countries are using his philosophy, like South Africa. Also, there are countries in South America, Argentina, also the Poland also use that non-violence philosophy to fight against the tyranny.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, but Gandhiji was never a Jain. He was not. He was a Hindu, but at the same time he adopted Jain principles to further his movement of non-violence against the British.
That is true. Mahatma Gandhi was born in a Hindu family, yes, but he has one of his guru was a Jain.
Oh, okay, that is where he got it.
His name is Rajchandra. I forgot his name. Yes, and he learned a lot of things from him about the non-violence, and that he put that thing in application. Yes.
In fact, Gandhiji also practiced Maunavrat,
All right.
no talking.
Correct.
I wouldn't have been able to interview him on a Monday.
Monday, yes.
Because his day of silence was Monday.
Yes.
In a week, one day you should not
Right,
talk.
right.
That
Yes.
gives the time to think
Yes.
and cool down.
What it is? Bottom line is all jap, tap, maun.
See, that third one is a Maun.
Maun. It is what it is. It brings you introvert to you.
Yes.
We are all extrovert,
Correct.
and we're trying to make you to introvert. And that is what again it goes back to the philosophy of purifying your soul. Bottom line is that. And when you do a maun, it's also saves you energy.
Right.
Like you are speaking, that is you are wasting your energy.
See, most of the Americans
Right.
or extroverts, they think loud.
Right.
Even thinking also, they keep talking.
Correct.
So this these days, yoga has caught up very much in America.
Right.
And that gives the time to cool down and think peacefully. Introvert.
Right.
They can become introverts.
Yeah,
think for themselves.
Right. Yeah, the yoga, I think the word yoga is not pronounced right to start with it. It is a yoga. It is not yoga.
Correct. Yeah.
And ga is a silent yoga.
Yes.
People need to learn that what yoga means is to join with our creator, if you believe in that one. So there are so many different ways you can do the yoga. Yoga is also like you do the physical yoga. That's one way to doing a physical yoga. Spiritual yoga you can do like chanting is also called it's called japa yoga if you wanted to call it. You can do the bhakti yoga if you are doing some devotional.
Yes.
You can call it a devotional yoga if you want bhakti yoga. So the yoga yoga is the fundamental things in order to before you start doing a meditation even. For example, if you do the physical yoga, you loosen off your body so that you can sit for longer time in a meditation. So meditation, yoga, and that is calming down your mind. When your mind is calmed down, you are following a less and less violence. And that is what we need to do in a modern society. The biggest problem, we have so much violence all over the world. Like even eating a meat is also violence, because in order to eat meat, you have to kill the animals. And animals have the same right to live in the face of the earth like any other human being or any other animals. They love to be living on earth. Why? That's what we are. That's our problem. Is in order to have a peace in the world, you have to do the yoga, you have to do the meditation, you have to do a non-violence, and then peace will be established. Our problem is that individuals are not at peace with themselves. How can you have a peace in the world? So we need to do something to have a peace with yourself so that you can establish the peace in the world.
Exactly. That's a wonderful.
And that is where the Jain religious thoughts comes into picture.
And I read in the papers that Claremont, California University,
Yes.
they have started Jain studies.
Yes.
A separate department.
Right. As a matter of fact, our Jain nuns who are living in Houston, they have also visited there. And also we have in a University of Florida in Miami, our nuns are teaching Jain studies over there in University of Florida. And I would like to have those studies should be available here in a University of Houston or a community college even. Yes.
Sure. I think University of Houston has already studies in Hinduism, and in fact, when our Foundation for India Studies started, we started the Hinduism and Jainism. Jainism is also first one of the two courses.
Yes.
We started teaching back in 2006. So it was started, and of course the community support has to be there in order to finance it and take it forward. You can do a lot of research, grants and things like that. That's what we.
Well, I will be happy to talk to my nuns, and I'll be happy to assist you financially, whatever best I can.
Thank you.
Definitely.
We will do that. And I do not recall having heard your second wife's name, and I believe she also has a business.
Yes.
So please talk.
Yeah, my wife's name is Chandrika Doshi.
Okay.
And she used to work for General Homes about 35 years ago. And that time she was working as a cleaning lady in their model homes. And the General Homes decided to lay off a lot of people because of the conditions in economy, bad condition in economy. And then I asked her to let us start a business of a Doshi Cleaning Services. And she started 35 years ago as a Doshi Cleaning Services. And she is still practicing, she's still having her own business for last 35 years. Presently, we are almost doing all of the home builders, model homes throughout the Houston area. And she has 12 people working for her, and she is still thriving in business for last 35 years.
So the entire family is entrepreneurs.
Well, as you know that all the Gujaratis are a businessman or business. We always love to do the business. We prefer to not to work for somebody, but
be independent.
Be independent and also contribute to the society at the same time. Yes.
Gujaratis from India, they have always been entrepreneurs, whether they migrated to Kenya, or Nairobi, or any East African country, and they created employment, invested employment, and they improved the native countries. In fact, even in America, as you know, most of the hoteliers are Gujaratis.
That is correct. That is correct.
And Patels particularly.
Patels, yes.
That's why sometimes they are called portels. Motels owned by Patels are called portels.
Patels,
right? And there is a very strong group, and they are creating employment and investment. This economy is benefited by the Indian immigrants so much. That is what our thrust was, to highlight our Indian community's contribution to American economy here. And not only in the economy, we also contributed to the cultural diversity of this country.
That is correct, yes.
Of course, now the younger generation, many Indians are coming with highly specialized skills in the technology field. So they are the ones, the next generation who will carry the country forward. With their contributions.
Well,
Just
as
as
you
much
know,
as your wife started being a cleaning lady and now owns a business. That shows that it's all the hard work that pays.
That is correct.
So we are givers, not takers.
That is correct.
To the to this country?
Well, when you have a money coming in, then you start
Giving
back
giving
to
out.
the society.
First you have to make the money.
You have to make the money to give, because if you don't have money, how are you going to donate it?
Exactly.
That is correct.
Exactly.
Yes, yes.
So this capitalism works in various means. I mean, India, we know, started off as a socialistic country under Nehru, first Prime Minister of India,
Yes.
and we were kind of, that generation. I was a child, when we were all influenced by the policies set by the government.
Yes.
And finally, now in the 1990s, 91, under P.V. Narasimha Rao government, the economy was opened up.
Yes.
Now in India, there is so much buzz and looking forward for everybody wants to become rich there too.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
but,
American model is working, right?
Well, American model, I have some trouble with the capitalism though.
Yeah.
You make a profit,
But to
but
give
not
back.
at the cost of the society.
Yes.
For example, you wanted to sell the liquors or alcohols to the public because the government is interested in earning the sell tax or whatever the charges they are.
Mm.
But then, they are not looking, the government is not looking what is harming the society. If you look into the America, how many car accidents happens because of the liquor
Sure.
driving with the, drinking and driving.
Yes.
So where the government function comes, and also that they should not worry about more getting money into their system, but they should think about the society, what's harming to the people. How many people become a handicap? How many people die? How many more problems creates by that? So the society is not working. Capitalism is also another thing, is a profiteering. At any cost, I want to make profit. That should not be the motto. You make a reasonable amount of profit, which is all right with it. But here for example, I'll give you another example of the selling the ink in a computer printers. The printers, the inks, they used to come in a clear plastic. Now they are not even going in a clear plastic, and they're all computerized program, and even the ink is not completely finished. They tell you that ink is finished. But how can I tell the ink is finished without seeing in it? So here it comes, they wanted to make more profiteering motivation.
Yes, yes.
Profit is fine, but it has to be a reasonable profit. That is what the problem is. Yes. And that's what the capitalism does not work on the longer run. It is going to fail later on.
Hopefully, America doesn't fail. We are in America. And
The
this
way
has
I-
become a successful model.
The way I
in the
see
world.
America has started failing in now. In last 6 years of what we are looking at the presidency of Obama, I see a failure is starting already, beginning of the failures now. Because the government is all interested in ruling the people and trying to make a bigger and bigger government, where how much taxes we are going to give to government to support it. I earn every $1, and out of $1, 60 cents goes to the different kind of taxes, including income tax, social security tax, gasoline tax, property tax, school district tax. So how much money I have to give to the government in order to support all those problems? So that's where the America is going to fail.
So when you came to this country, were you a Democrat or turned into a Republican now?
I
Just
was
asking.
really what I was looking by. I was never been Democrat to start with. I always a Republican. But now I'm also not a Republican, but I'm a kind of a Tea Party supporter.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's interesting.
The reason why we are sending the representatives to Washington, and they are not supposed to do what we are asked them to do, and that is why we have an all stagnant government right now. Nothing is moving,
Right.
and that's why I am not supporting anymore even the Republican parties.
Oh, I see.
Yes, sir.
You're the first Indian who admitted that he supports Tea Party I have come across. I
Right.
didn't meet any other
Yes.
so far.
Yeah, the Republican Party was doing fine until the Reagan area. After the Reagan is gone and George Bush came in, he was okay. First George Bush came in, and then his son came in, and after that everything is falling apart. And now we can see they are supposed to be a opposing party to the Democratic presidency, but they are not opposing anything. They just let him do whatever he wants to do. You know, so they have to think about what is the best interest of the people, not the government. That's what is happening right now. The government is kind of expanding and expanding until it's going to bust. There is no way you can support it.
I see that you have very strong opinions how the political system should work or the politicians should behave. Did you take any active part in politics yourself directly?
I have not taken any active part in directly. I've supported a the Republican Party by giving donations to them, yes.
Okay.
But not active. I would like to maybe start with some school district trustee or something, or then maybe a representative, because now I am old enough and have enough experience to represent the people now.
Okay.
That's
so
maybe.
Do you have any ideas of taking part in public life?
I have not given enough thought because I'm still running my business, and it'll be difficult to do both at the same time. If I do, then I will have to stop my business, and then go for that.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell me something about the future generations of Indians living here. What would be your message?
For future generation, what I would like to tell them is to first thing, you should learn Indian language. That is one thing. And get a lot of education and do hard work, and this is still land of opportunity. Whole world is a land of opportunity if you work hard. It doesn't matter whether you are in America or in India or Africa.
So work hard is
the main thing, yes. And also you contribute 10% for the religious purpose. And a lot of young people who are not engaging themselves with the religious associations, they are afraid. But without the religion, you cannot swim the ocean. It's just like you wanted to fly to India. How much trust do you have it on your pilot that he's going to take me to right place? Same thing, religion takes you to crosses the ocean from one place to another. So that is young generations are not attaching with the religious association, and they need to do that.
You think that future generations will be as committed to the Indian culture and activities as we see now?
I think so. Nowadays we have lots of Indian cultural programs here. In the beginning we didn't have it, but now we have a lot of, and they are doing that. As a matter of fact, my daughter, she is asking me to teach Indian language to my grandson right from the childhood. Matter of fact, and I think she is also learning herself to teach that. So yes, they will be adopting Indian culture. They do go to temple, they do follow, but they need to do much more. They need to get more involved with the religious associations. Yes, because they are going to be the next leaders of those religious organizations.
So you think there is a hope?
There is a hope, yes, and that's my message to them, that they need to involve much more with the religious organizations. Yes. They should not be afraid of them. They think they are just wanted their money. No, it is not that. But they give you a lot of things back to you.
But are they not ABCDs, American born, confused desis?
In my case, my children are not.
No, okay, they are not. Okay.
But the other, I do not know about other, but my children are multi-degrees education, as well as they are exposed to other.
They got best of the both
Best
worlds.
of the both parts. Yes, yes.
Wonderful. With that thought, thank you very much. If you anything you want to add to this, which I may not have covered, areas of your passion, interest, you can add.
Well, what I would like to add is about building a character. in America, there is a very lack of building a character. Our education system is only a bread-oriented education system.
Oh.
It does not make a character out of human being. And we are emphasizing more on work than family life. In India, we have in our Shastra says that you divide whole day out of 24 hours, Artha, Kama, Moksha, and there's the fourth one. But we are not doing that part of it. We are not spending a time for going to liberation, moksha we call. We are not spending time to learn about the religious things, salvation.
Yeah.
That is what we are. We do not have time for our own family.
The spiritual part of it.
Spiritual part has to be go balance to balance. In order to have your life should be a balanced life, 50% spiritual, 50% material.
I agree on that. Balanced life. That is the key word.
Balanced
Yes.
life. And you have to have an education system which builds character. We need to learn science of living, how to live. We do not know. We are living, but we do not know how to live.
Have to enjoy that.
And to enjoy it,
Yes.
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 So that is what I have to say.
Very true. That is your last. Anything else you want to say?
That is fine. That is fine. I appreciate it.
I hope I covered.
I think you have covered hope, and I hope I try to give my best out of it. Yes.
Thank you so much,
You're quite welcome.
Hasmukh ji.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.